I saw a great slogan on a t-shirt this week. Normal isn't coming back. Jesus is. Nothing could be truer. But we need to work at getting some of the normal back while we're waiting for Jesus. And part of the normal that we need is other people getting back in our lives, back together again and doing something that is just plain fun. Let's play a game is a great invitation as dinner draws to an end. Monopoly or bridge or cranium or whatever your family enjoys. Mind you, when Mother issues the edict, "Don't play games with me," it is not turning down your invitation. That's when you know you are in trouble. The great thing about games when I was young was that you created your own. You and your friends in the ravine, saving the world from aliens or playing with marbles in the schoolyard. We played games in so many ways when my children were growing up. And when the family gets together for birthdays, we play or reminisce. Just recently, I realized how the past 2 years have changed games. We have spent a lot of time learning how to amuse ourselves on our own. I know I have become addicted to my tablet and the games it has on it. But that is solitary time and lacks the relationships that board games foster. Real games don't get played alone. Sure, there are the old familiar card games that I can play online. Solitaire and Spider and Free Cell. I can even play gin rummy with the computer generating an opponent for me. There are also endless jigsaw puzzles that I enjoy. But nothing beats the camaraderie of debating and challenging and laughter that's sitting around the card table with friends and dows. My favorite memory of playing cards involves my Methodist grandmother, who was very strictly observant of her church's teachings. But having married into the Crew family, she discovered cards. Not wanting to scandalize, she would do a jigsaw puzzle every afternoon on the card table, and only after 9 p.m. would she pull down the blinds and get out the cards. After all, no decent folk would ever come calling after 9. Depending who was at the house determined the game. If Gran was alone, it was solitaire. 2, it was cribbage. 3 or 4, and it was pinochle. But it was always fun, with the added spice of being a bit daring. Games on TV seem to be a great drawing card, now having its own dedicated channel, in fact. And they have gone from what seemed at the time to be the wildly extravagant $64,000 question to today's Jeopardy, which our homegrown host, Alex Trebek, made into such a great success that big winners can now take home millions. Then there are the reality game shows that I really don't get, like Survivor or Bachelor, or the latest, Love in the Jungle, where the cast aren't allowed to talk to each other, only communicate non-verbally, and each identifies as the animal they feel best resembles their personality, while they participate in mating rituals pulled straight from the animal kingdom. Well, perhaps one of you could explain the appeal or the game in all of that, for clearly these games do have lots of fans. And then there are the many kinds of games that are played in life, in families, by politicians, performers, unions, and businesses. Some are great, and some are exploitive, and some are gambles. Gambling has also become its own pandemic over the past few years. Watching hockey during the playoffs, I noticed that more than half the boards were covered in ads for online gambling. The province is also hopping on this moneymaker, recently legalizing single-game betting. So while they proclaim, know your limit and play within it, nowhere do they point out that the house always makes money, or that the odds dictate that you will lose more than you will win. And so often, those least able to afford to lose open their wallets and dream of beating the odds, never having to work again, owning a private jet and the Lamborghini, and life in their very own mansion. The news channels provide us with the unintended humor of watching politicians trying to convince one audience that they are playing on their side, and then moving on, seeking to convince another that they will be supporting their diametrically opposed values. And the politicians' stylists, turning them up in hard hats or baseball caps, in tuxedos or gym togs, as they play their roles in the game of re-election. So too with businesses that seek to add you to their team, buying, promoting, and using their products, whether you need them or not. The internet has complicated those games. Comparison shopping is easy, and deals and reviews flood your inbox from all the competitors. Online still lacks the ability to provide the feel, the touch, and the smell of the products, but I'm sure some geek in a garage is working on that. And so, a return to the malls and shopping centers is on the horizon, and empty storefronts have new tenants where it will be so much more fun being talked into those things you really don't need. But it will be the delights of face-to-face. Sadly, within families we also play games. Some insignificant, some fun, but some that scar and have an impact forever. The bully, the histrionic, the jealous, the prima donna. So many roles, and they get honed over time to fit the goals of the purveyor. Mind you, it is always interesting watching your adult children revert to their roles of 40 years ago and the games they play with each other. Who gets humored? Who are the real competitors? Who puts everyone on alert? Who frets? Who always makes the decisions, or thinks so? Who follows and who leads, playing such different roles than they do in the rest of their lives? Most of the games that we play are fun and largely harmless. They are wonderful ways to engage one's free time and imagination. They refresh body and soul and let us ignore the troubles of the world for a bit. We need more fun and games in our life, but games that involve others, not just ways to occupy our boredom. We need to re-engage with others, not merely in a return to work or removing our masks or seeing the children off to camp rather than sitting them in front of the computer. Humans were not meant to live alone. We're social beings, and healthy relationships are a necessary part of our well-being. One of the great ways of keeping the wheels of friendship well-oiled is to play together, whether at the bowling alley, the golf course, across a chessboard, or, well, you name your favorite game. And get play in it. So may it be. Amen. It's never too late to learn a new game or rediscover an old delight. Sharing the games of your childhood with a new generation, and nothing beats hide and seek, or having a grandchild roll their eyes at your inability to bounce on the games of the trampoline, is its own delight. It is time to work at recovering some of the old normal, and there is nothing like playing games to help getting us off our duffs and moving once more.